Okay, welcome. So tonight we're going to talk about how you guys can elevate your business to the next level in 2024. Hopefully, you guys all have a business because this is specifically for business owners. If you're thinking about starting a business, it'll be good for you as well. Otherwise, maybe watch our webinar we did last night about what's needed and the benefits of starting a business. But tonight we're really gonna focus in on you business owners, and we want to learn more from you as well as we go through this on what you are really struggling with. Steve, Jerry, and I all have businesses and have for a while and work with business owners on a regular basis. So we hear it from a lot of people, the struggles, but we would like to know specifically from you guys, what are your biggest struggles in your businesses? So if you can start putting that in the chat, that will help us to make sure we're addressing you guys as we get going. But as we begin 2024, our goal is to help as many business owners, specifically therapy business owners, really get to the next level in their business. And I know, yes, I'm the creator and owner of Next Level Occupational Therapy, and that's kind of corny, but seriously, there are specific strategies that you guys need to implement in order to do it. And I can say firsthand that it has made a significant, it has allowed me to go from, a lower six-figure business to a seven-figure business in less than a year by implementing these strategies. So it's something that is definitely doable, and we hope that we will be able to help each one of you guys do that. So for those of you that don't know me, I'm Kara Welke, occupational therapist. I have a mobile hybrid therapy practice in Grand Forks, North Dakota. We started in 2018, just myself. We now have over 20 employees, and that's a mixture of therapists, CNAs, admins, virtual assistants, and so forth. And then my other business is Next Level Occupational Therapy. And we help therapists start, build, and grow their businesses. A lot of people think we just help people start their business, but we help a lot of business owners who are already up and running grow and expand their business. So, and a key piece in that puzzle is our team. And today we have Steve and Jerry, who are part of our therapy business builder team to help our therapists. And they'll be joining me, and Mike is a part of our team as well. He's listening in online. But Jerry and Steve, do you want to introduce yourselves before we get rolling?
Go ahead, Steve.
So hi everyone, thanks Kara. My name is Steve Gluck. I am an occupational therapist. I have been practicing for about 10 years now, and I'm also the CEO of HelloNote. If you don't know, HelloNote is a practice management and EMR system, and we designed it from the ground up in a way that makes sense for therapists to make sure you're not paying for multiple systems. And it's an all-in-one system, it's affordable, and it was built to exactly do what this presentation is about, to scale your business and grow and take you to the next level by having a lot of different tools in place. I also run a practice and manage practices, so we know what it's like to be a therapist and a practice owner. So we take all of that feedback and we do our best to make sure that HelloNote has all the tools in place to make sure that you're successful.
I'm Jerry Durham. I have to pause every time I say how long I've been doing this. So I've been in the healthcare business. I'm a physiotherapist, physical therapist of 30 years now, closer to 31 than 30. Had my own business, got out of it, 18 years. It just baffles me that I could have something for 18 years and not have it for this long. But started my own practice on my own and then grew it up. Had probably about 15 to 20 employees, had multiple sites in the physical therapy side. And now currently do two things. I left off the second one last night. now currently do two things. I have a company called the Client Experience Company that helps people with some of the systems that we'll probably talk about tonight and connect those systems in their business so that they can get more clients who arrive, pay, and stay into their business. And then the second business is a what I call a front desk sales solutions company. It's actually a virtual front desk company that's trained by me. Well, not trained by me. The systems have been set up by me for training people specifically to help on the pre-arrival side of healthcare, physical therapy, occupational therapy, speech practices, and manage the front end phones, intake process, benefit checks, all kinds of stuff like that. That's my other company.
Awesome. And Mike, you should be able to talk.
All right, can you guys hear me? I'm actually driving right now, ladies and gentlemen, but thank you for bringing me in, Kara. Appreciate you. But like Kara said, we started this around 2018. I was dilly-dallying. I don't know if that's a word or that's American.
That's a great word, dude.
So, but I got fired 2019, and I didn't have a choice but to do this full time. So I did mobile with the help of Kara and of course Steve, and you know, I did a lot of mobile visits, hired my first employee. Then we went to different assisted living and retirement homes and adult daycare. And now we do have like 4 assisted livings that we go to, 2 daycares, and we got 2 brick and mortar. And we're growing. We have around a total of 30 staff. Like Kara, we got virtual assistants from Jerry, by the way, and just a lot of people helping. And I always tell this to the people that we serve, you know, in the therapy business builder. Many are called, but few are chosen. Many can be called to start your business, but few are chosen. We are all the chosen one. And not a lot of people will do this. But if you find that calling and that answer to call this, you will have fulfillment, you know, not just for yourselves, but for your family, you know, financially, and for your community. And we're doing this not just for ourselves, for our community too. Imagine you're changing not only your patient. If you're an employee, you're changing one person at a time. If you own a company and start this, you're changing a lot of people's lives. And this is what Kara has been doing, and Steve and Jerry's been doing. And that's what we want you to do too, because we cannot do all of this by ourselves. We want you to be the leaders in your community so you can change other people's lives there too. You know, so that's my thing. That's my intro. So, and I'm going to stick to it before
Awesome.
I lose the Filipino language.
Well, thank you, Mike. We appreciate
Kara.
you.
I'm
So,
ready to go start a business. Holy crap. I'm already trying to figure out another business to start after that.
you do not need any more, Jerry.
My
You need to
God.
focus here. Come on. Anyways, okay, so does any of these pictures resonate with any of you? So I like to have involvement. So if you guys don't comment in the chat, I won't move forward. So if you want to get through with this presentation, you need to be active and comment in the chat. So what is your biggest struggles right now? And I know some of you already wrote this in the Tulsi. Some of you already wrote your struggles above. Managing the different hats, marketing, billing, intake, searching, funding sources. Catherine said, Deborah said, need to find PTs who want mobile work and document wisely and marketing. Jennifer said, putting all these systems into place, finding the time to sit down and set up stuff. I want to pay someone to sit down and do it for me. We'll take care of that for you, Jennifer here. Referral sources and getting patients. Amber said, let's see, what are some other ones that you guys, so many ideas, arrows in all directions, dealing with insurance. Biggest struggle is figuring out who does what, hiring therapists, not getting discouraged when things don't work out. Great. So just so you know, all of us that help therapists start, run, build, grow businesses and currently have businesses, I can say probably feel like this. I don't know about Steve and Jerry, but I will tell you each picture of this probably is me at one point in this week, actually. So you're not alone, but there are specific strategies that you can put in place that are gonna make the difference, but you have to be willing and open to do that. So before we get started, we're gonna talk about the 5 strategies, and these 5 strategies actually came up through a variety of our coaches. They told me what their top 5 strategies would be, also researching and looking at business development and so forth. So we just didn't pull them out of the hat as well. But I'm curious, for those of you guys here, maybe we can give a prize or something to someone if they get all 5 correct or the most correct. What are the 5 strategies that you guys think businesses really need to get to the next level? If you can share at least a couple strategies that you think are important, that would be awesome. I just kind of like to know where you guys' minds are before we get started. So Deb's take calculated risk, hiring the right people, financial management, Jennifer, that I think you cheat on that. Marketing, knowing what to delegate, systems, marketing network. Good. Any other ones that you guys have? Systems. Everyone says systems, policy procedures, systems, automation, KPIs, good cash flow. Awesome. Some of you guys know me too well and what we preach, so that's awesome. Figuring out the system. Okay, let's get started. Number 1, focus. Who has trouble focusing? Literally see this each and every day. And you know how I see it is because we help so many therapists, and I see what they're doing on social media. And I know they're not focusing on what they need to focus on. Or we work with them in coaching calls, and I know they're not focusing on what they need to focus. And yeah, even Mike, I tell Mike he has to focus all the time. But even myself, I struggle with focus. And why do we struggle with focus? Because of all of the things out there that are coming at us. And I will say some of the bigger influencers in the therapy world are on social media, plugging things out there all the time, right? And then we see what they're doing and we think we should do that. And I know Sue always blames me a lot because some of my emails I send out or things I post, she's like, you're making people not be able to focus with some of these other things. But seriously, you have to know what your final destination is. And you have to be able to focus on what you need to do to get there. Just because someone is starting to be an Amazon affiliate doesn't mean that's what you should be doing. Just because someone is starting to all of a sudden do all of these videos on YouTube doesn't mean that's something that you should be doing. And the problem with not focusing on your business and on your path is, it takes so much more time, money, and effort when you're scattered. We had a coaching call a couple weeks ago, and the number one thing that people told me is they didn't have enough time. And some of us have multiple businesses, families, and so forth. And we have to find that time. So it comes back to what are you doing? How are you tracking your time? And, are you putting your eggs in the right baskets? So having clear direction is key. When we don't have focus, your productivity really stinks, right? there's a lot of missed opportunities out there when your attention is all over the place versus really focusing on getting your business to where you need to be. How many of you feel like you are able to really focus on your business and what you need to do? And how many of you are able to focus on things that are really important for your business versus kind of having the shiny object syndrome? And Carrie said staying off social media has really helped. I mean, it's true. What are you doing on social media? Why do you need to be on social media? That sucks so much time and energy in. So focus, and we have a whole webinar just on focus and how to focus. And that's a whole another topic in of itself. But being able to focus is key. Steve, Jerry, what do you want to add in on the importance of focus and being able to tend your business to the next level?
Yeah, focus is everything. Because when you have a business, it's like having a child, right? You want to focus on, well, essentially a business as an entity is like a living being. And I truly believe that, because you have to start it, you have to nurture it, you have to attend to it, and you have to grow it and watch it grow and make modifications as your business grows. And if you have no focus, or, as you said, social media or shiny object syndrome, or there's people around you, and this is one of my biggest issues I have with some entrepreneurs that tell me this, and it's so upsetting, is when others discourage you from trying your business. And this really puts such an impact on your success. Okay, because you need to give it your all. You need to give your business your all. And as we're going to talk about in this webinar, Karen, even yesterday's webinar, we spent a lot of time talking about the time it takes on running a business, right? So it's not just something simple. So yeah, focus is a really high key element. So, you have to do whatever you have to do to focus. If that means meditation, then go ahead. I know many entrepreneurs that started to meditate, and that kept their focus actually on their business. And I can guarantee you, it's going to make your business more successful the more you focus on it.
Jerry, any wisdom?
Yeah, I think Steve nailed it. And hold on, I see something I want to share. As someone who has so much hard time focusing, they got a tattoo to remind themselves to focus. What Steve said, right? I like that idea of that raising a human being, right? That nurturing and monitoring and bringing a human being to each stage. This is probably one of the best books I read that got me focused. It's called The One Thing, and you guys are probably familiar with it. And because as you're going through your journey, no matter where you are in your journey, there's that thing you need to do at this time that if you focus on that one thing, will have the biggest impact. It's like the dominoes falling. In that book called The One Thing, and it's about getting the results you want, is how to think about how you choose the tasks and the activities and the thing you need to do today, tomorrow, the next day, so that the dominoes keep tipping and you get that forward progression and you're not just going around in a circle instead. So I would highly recommend that book called The One Thing for help with focusing.
Awesome. So as far as recommendations on how to focus, we're just going to provide you with a couple simple ones. And again, we'll be doing more webinars where we break out into more specific information on these topics. But a key thing that's been super beneficial for me is when I was in a mastermind and our coach put up a screen and he showed us like our goal and how most people are all over the place. They're doing this activity, they're doing this activity, they're doing this activity, they're doing this activity, because they don't have the final destination or the final goal in mind. And we need to know, where do we really want to get? And I said this at the beginning, and that's when everything that gets thrown at you, you need to ask yourself, is this going to help you get to that final destination? If it's not, then you're not going to do it. Going on top of that, the power of saying no has been huge to me. I probably say no more than I should. But you have to make the right learn to make the right decisions for your business, and you have to be able to say no to yourself as well when you see some of those things that other people are doing, and then you get curious and want to go check it out. I mean, is that really the best thing for you to do? So Steve, Jerry, what would be your top two things for helping people focus?
I like because I think it echoes you, and I'm just going to echo the same thing, is a system. And that book, The One Thing, I just looked at my notes. I got a boatload of notes in the back of it. It helps you build out a system for how to process exactly what Kara just said. What's important today? What will move me forward in that book? So I'm going to say my one thing is to get the book called The One Thing. And it is an easy read. Let me tell you, you're not going to be sitting there and having to go too deep. It's about building a system to make those good choices.
Awesome. Steve?
Well, one thing that you mentioned and others have mentioned as well is staying off of social media. So I know how distracting that can be, and I've spoken to many therapists and entrepreneurs that did exactly that. They shut down their social media page, so they deleted the apps off their phone, and their productivity skyrocketed. It is just amazing to hear the stories of how quick you can do better. And it's not only about your business, it's just the learning about yourself as well. When you take out that element of social media and mindless either scrolling or just being influenced by others that are sharing their, I'll say, like a cloud of nothingness, when they show you this brand new whatever they got because they did this and that, and now all of a sudden you want to do that because you feel like you're going to do that, and then multiply that by 10, 15 of those advertisements. Now you're in a mind of, there's no focus in that sense. So yeah, deleting social media is a big one. And as I said, for the other one that I know some entrepreneurs did it, I've tried it myself, meditation. This requires waking up early, which is not something that worked for me, but I tried. But I do believe it because I know many others that did meditate. Again, it could only be like 10 minutes a day. And, just the results that I've heard from people, not only heard, you could see the results. Elevating their business, their mindset is just as clear. So I'll say those two.
Awesome. Now, for all of you that are online, share your tips for how you focus and what you have found to help you, just in case you have something that we haven't discussed. And before I go to number two, I'll also say is you need to know what stage you're at in your business for what you need to focus on. For instance, we help therapists get their systems set up. And sometimes we get therapists that are really focused on creating those systems, and then they lose track of what they really need to be doing because they're at the start of their business where they really need to be out building up that clientele and so forth. So it's going to depend on where you're at in your business system, and again, what your final destination is. So, okay, I don't see anyone sharing any ideas on how they focus. So if you have a good idea, share that in. We'll move on to the next one. Systems. So I will tell you that I have been hearing that you need to have systems from the moment I started my business. And for the first 3-4 years that I was like, yeah, I know I need systems, but I have no idea what systems I need, how to implement the systems, what the systems do, and so forth. So anyone here feel that way about systems? Tell us if you have a good system in place for your business. Do you even know what a system is? What kind of systems you need to have in place? Where are you guys at on the whole system side of things? So Deb said she made systems when she managed a clinic. Michelle said she has the systems, but she doesn't understand what to do with them. Hannah said at the bottom. So yeah, systems, again, are going to help you focus and give you more time in your business. Yeah, Beth said, I don't even know what systems I need. Tell me the system. Amanda said they have consistent systems, unsure if they are the most efficient. No systems. Can you explain what a system is? So I will tell you, Michelle said that she likes Jerry's flow chart as that helps her understand what I need. So I obviously am not the systems expert. I have coaches that help me implement my own systems. Our primary system coach is not on the line tonight, but Jerry and Steve are very good at systems, and Chad, our systems guy, has given me a variety of things to share with you on the topic of systems. But before I do that, Jerry and Steve, do you want to talk about systems and what systems we need to have in place and why they're so important? And then I can go into some of the things that Chad wanted me to share.
I'll go, Steve. So what I've been out of, so I had a business for 18 years. I've been out of it for probably 18, been out of it for 8. And probably most of what I share, I knew for less than half of that time. And by the way, I didn't learn most of it till I was halfway through the business and almost out of it. So just take this all on again. What I've learned is in reflecting back. So the ability to have the opportunity to have someone come alongside you and help you with the systems is ginormous, because I wish someone would have taught me all this shit way before I learned it. If you understand, someone said, right, they have the systems like the bill becoming a law. Remember the after school, I'm only a bill, Schoolhouse Rock. I think that's the way you guys, so my recommendation is understand a ideal client moving through your business, right? All the way from marketing, all the way through a completed course of care, all the way to discharge, all the way to someone you want to keep in your ecosystem. And if you put that in front of you as almost just like dots, and you can go real high level, and then you understand that the foundations of a business are marketing, sales, retention, right? And retention, and you lay that over that, then you'll know what systems to start with and where to start building. So again, my recommendation is understand who you're serving. Take that one person, you only need one ideal client and that thought of it, and build out the journey they would go on in your business. And if you have multiple parts of your business, then you got to build out multiple journeys, right? They could all come in the same way. They call your office, right? So the whole journey won't be different. And then you start to build, go back to the beginning and start to build the marketing systems, the sales systems, the retention systems. That to me is, it ties back to the focus. That will always tell you where to go next. I didn't do most of this for most of my career, and that's why I was chasing no-shows and cancels and billing problems far after they occurred, far after I could do anything about them. And when I finally figured out what I just shared with you, a lot of my, the majority, it's pretty interesting, the majority of my billing problems disappeared that were happening 2 months after discharge. Disappeared because we understood why it was the bill, right? What we were doing wrong. And it wasn't a billing issue, for the record. It was a communication issue. So we were able to change that further up, and it disappeared. And then we looked at everything, someone moving through. How do we manage that one person? Because you don't have to build out 20 systems. You have to build out one system, or sorry, one process, shall we say, one journey for your ideal client. You do it one time. So there's my $5 worth, reflecting back on mostly
More than $5 worth there.
Yeah, reflecting back on what I should have done and didn't do and wish I would have known early on.
Kara, I
Steve?
want to share some systems too. Can you hear me?
Yep. Chime in, Mike.
So, I don't know, not all people here can afford and buy, but let me just encourage you guys that when I got fired, I'm the main breadwinner. I'm an immigrant, so I could have been deported back home and I didn't have any savings. So, but the first thing I did was invested on a person who knows what they're doing. Because we're all naturally therapists here. You know, I came in here as a therapist. I didn't come in here in the United States to be a business owner. So naturally, I'm a therapist. And I don't want to deal with creating policies and procedures. I didn't want to deal with billing. I didn't want to deal with calling people because I don't want to do that. So what I first did is paid someone. I invested, you know, with Kara. I invested in Kara in our mastermind group and stuff like that to teach me the systems and them implementing the systems. I mean, I reached out to Steve. Hey, Steve, I need your help with an EMR and if I can afford it. And then that instantly removed my worries because a lot of people who starts their business, our worry is that how are we going to do this? How are we going to bill? How are we going to call the patient? How are we going to get the referral? As early as now, you learn how to delegate, and those people that you've delegated to, they have their system. Just like a therapist, you hire your first therapist, they have their own ways of evaluating a patient. All right, they have their own way. You have your own way. I mean, I can't tell Kara, hey, Kara, this is how I evaluate a patient. No, they have their own way. Kara has their own way. Steve probably has his own way of evaluating a patient. And same thing with the processes and the systems that you're going to buy or get or that services. I mean, literally, I told Steve, hey, Steve, I need your EMR. And that way I don't have to worry about this. Teach me and find someone who can help me with the billing because I don't know anything about billing. And then now we got, you know, I got Kara. Hey, Kara, I don't want to reinvent the wheel. I want to invest. Give me your policies and procedures. Well, of course, I paid for it. And then I didn't have to reinvent the wheel. And same thing with Jerry. Hey, Jerry, I'm having problems with my people who's answering the front desk. I have like 4 front desk people on 2 of my clinics, and they still have problems. Hey, Steve, could you help me? Oh, Steve. Hey, Jerry, could you help me with this process here? And he figured out the process. So as early as now in your journey in the business, learn how to hire and find people who will help you do this system because you cannot do it all. I mean, ask me how Jerry does it. I don't know. Ask me how Steve does the EMR. I don't know because I've learned how to trust people, you know, and bringing in people that can help you and grow your business. So even with the simple taxation, don't do it yourself. You know, yes, you may be a CPA, that's your undergrad, but I'm not doing my taxes. I've invested on a CPA as early as in my business. So the more you learn how to delegate, the more you'll be able to grow this business and help people. That's the goal, helping people. All right,
Exactly. Steve, I know you're a systems guy. Anything to add?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, yeah, so systems are a crucial element in, I don't want to say it was always crucial, but in today's world, it is extremely crucial because you're a fool if you don't use the systems that you have available, right? Because essentially the systems do work of multiple people. It could be one person, it could be some of your tasks, or in some cases, as large as your business is, it can handle the work of 10, 20 employees. And we have proven concept of that. So HelloNode is essentially a system. When we started HelloNode, it was just documentation. And then as we were providing it to other practitioners across the US, we learned we have to integrate with scheduling, with appointment reminders, with billing, with e-faxing, and so on. So so HelloNode is one big system, and we're always listening to feedback on how we can take roles of people that you're paying or yourself, the time that you're spending, put it into the software so it does work for you. Okay, so that is really, really important. And the quicker you implement the system, the more successful you will be as well. Because once you get used to doing something, it's going to be really hard to delegate that or let that go. So right away is something you want to just figure out what systems you have within your reach and then use that to your advantage. So, you know, whichever task that may be, use your systems that you have available, whether it's Hello Note side, Next Level side, Jerry, you have the front desk solutions as a system. So I think that's really valuable. Systems, you know, I don't know how to run a business anymore without systems, put it that way. So, and I think all of us rely on systems to make sure our business is running. And as time goes on, systems are only going to improve. So definitely don't miss the boat on getting your systems set up properly, because there's going to be more systems to use to help your business down the line.
So with systems, you know, there's financial systems, HR systems, marketing systems, IT systems, operational systems. You know, there's so many things that you need to have systems in order to be efficient, in order to, you know, have consistency in your ability, in order to be able to scale. I see a lot of people talking about they don't have money to invest, or they're too frugal to invest. They, you know, aren't making enough money yet. If I would have done this system and got these systems implemented when I first started my business, it would have eliminated so much loss of revenue. It would have dramatically increased my life, like reduced my stress and made things so much easier. And you have to be willing to invest in the proper systems in order to increase your time to put in the things that or to be able to focus your time on what you should be able to do. And again, I'm not a systems expert. I'm the one that worked with a team to get systems put in place for my business. So I'll give you examples of how we specifically have implemented systems and how that has made a huge difference for us, because, you know, I'm not techie and doing this stuff has been a challenge as well. But systems, you know, I already said it's going to help you with efficiency, consistency, to be able to scale. It's also going to improve customer satisfaction. And it's also going to give you a competitive advantage. And we have, you know, we implemented systems in my business, and now we're helping therapists implement their systems in Therapy Business Builder. And it's been a challenge because therapists, or like me, we don't know really how to get in these, we don't know how to implement these systems. We don't want to take the time to implement these systems. And so we're kind of starting from scratch. So all of our therapists in our Therapy Business Builder program are kind of starting from scratch come January, and we're just going real basic and to get these systems in place, because we know that it's going to save them so much money in next year, and it's going to reduce money that is trickling away because they're either not knowing where the money's going, they're losing leads and so forth. So I can almost guarantee that the systems they're going to implement is going to dramatically increase their revenue in 2024. In fact, Steve and Jerry, we should do some sort of contest or something from implementing these systems and keeping track of how well they do and so forth. But anyways, so with systems, obviously there are a bunch of systems. The team we work with, you know, they feel that there's 3 key pillars to their systems, with dealing with leads, dealing with customer management, dealing with a follow-up nurture system. And I will tell you, I'll give you an example. So a lot of people aren't managing their leads well. They don't know where they're coming in, or they come in and they forget to follow up with them, or someone reaches out to them and they might call back and they get a voicemail, but then they never call back again. And if you have someone calling you, or if you have people coming to you, you need to have a good system in place to follow up with these people. You know, and for example, before we implemented systems, there was someone, and I just makes me cringe thinking about it, is actually a friend who wanted to be seen and it fell through the cracks. And it wasn't months later till, I don't even know how we found it, to that this person had reached out to us and wanted to be seen. We didn't have a good system for managing all of the leads and having a good follow-up process with everyone. And thank goodness for our systems people for developing the systems to make it happen, but then also utilizing Jerry's team. Their front desk associate is who we have currently that manages all the leads for us and follows up with them. Same thing with customer management. Our clients are loving our new system in place because, I'll give you an example with our pelvic health therapist. A lot of women don't realize that or what to expect when they're coming in for a women's health evaluation. So they get an email from Trisha, and the email is a video of her telling them exactly what to expect, what to do when they're coming in for their first visit. They get automated messages reminding of their visits. They can respond to those visits. They like the communication and ability to respond. Our Google reviews have dramatically increased with our new system because it automatically gets sent to them in order to leave those reviews. Our billing follow-up and collection of claims and so forth has greatly helped. So the money alone that we have saved and are not letting fall through the cracks more than pays for the system side of things. The other thing is a follow-up system in place. A lot of our clients are our greatest referral source, but they're going to need therapy again at some point in time. So if you don't have a good system in place to follow up with them, you might lose out on that. So once we discharge a client, and I will say we don't discharge clients very often because we utilize maintenance therapy a ton with our clients, but especially for I'd say our women's health, those clients get discharged probably more, but they all go in our follow-up system, and they all get messages sent out to them on a regular basis. And several times they're coming in and rescheduling from those messages. So those are just a few examples of systems to have in place to really make your life easier. My admin was really hesitant about changing systems and doing things different. But it's pretty funny because now she's all on top of it, because when we get a new lead, it just automatically kind of funnels through this magical wizardry, I say, because the new lead comes in, the message goes to our VA, the VA calls out, reaches to them, then once they have that call and we get their information, it automatically funnels to the next person that verifies their insurance. Once that's done, Cheyenne gets a message to schedule them with the therapist. And then after that, she tags it with the therapist, and then they automatically get an email. You have a new evaluation to schedule with this client. So it can really be life-changing, but you have to take the time in order to be able to do that. So yeah, that's my little spiel on systems. As far as recommendations on implementing systems, is it written out somewhere, the whole thing? Well, we have a lot of this written out. We can share with you, Michelle. How many of you guys have a SOP, a standard operating procedure? Yes or no? Put that in the chat section.
Kara,
Yep.
I want to add also on a lot of people mentioned about the money, the investment on themselves. So I think there's no problem with that. Was my problem too when I was starting. I was thinking, why would I need this? Because I'm not making money yet and stuff like that. But it all changed when I got fired. Still upset of getting fired, right? Mm-hmm. Actually, it's this month that I got fired. I got memories in my Facebook, and it was not a system problem for me. It was a mindset problem for me. It was my mindset that, oh, I can't invest on this system because I'm not making money yet. But instead of thinking of that mindset, you gotta change it to, I want to invest on that system, and that way I can make money out of it. So instead of thinking it as an expense. So when I changed that mindset from an expense to an investment, everything blew up. I got so much patience. I mean, I don't know if you heard what Kara said, ladies and gentlemen. She said that from running from low 6 figures to 7 figures, who doesn't want that? Who doesn't want that? You tell me now, people who are in the chat, tell me you don't want that to happen to you. I want that. Yes, we spent a lot of money, with the, buying EMRs or system policies and procedures. But imagine, let's just say you invested 6 figures. Let's just say you wanted to put 6 figures in this business. You don't want to get, 100,000. You don't want to make $1 million now. And same thing with our education. I went here in the United States. I went back and finished my doctorate degree. We invested on ourselves. Why not now in changing your community, ladies and gentlemen? So it's very important that you change that mind. It's not a system problem. It's a mindset problem that we need to change from within, from inside us. So that's what I wanted to say. So, and I'm still mad because I got fired.
Thanks, Mike, for sharing. So the majority of people here said they do not have a standard operating procedure. Jerry, do you want to touch on that? You love that.
Yeah, sorry, hold on a second. Hello. Yeah, and again, we're back to the SOP. And here's the thing, right? People are saying, I don't have money to get the systems. Go back to the beginning. You don't have to buy everything. Mike put a lot of stuff out there. Everybody has. Go back to the beginning, and what's the first step, right? And actually, Carrie, you mentioned this at the very beginning. I don't even remember what the context was, but about, what is our marketing strategy? How are we going to get the leads? You need the systems once we get the leads. So think about those things in that order. Back to, okay, we're going to get the leads. Okay, we probably need a CRM. Okay, we're going to get people in the business. We need an EMR. Those to me are the first things you got to do. Now, those on their own are not SOPs. You got to have the SOP. By the way, I've got some open on my desktop for some other clients. The SOP has to take you through and tell you how you're going to manage where, right? It isn't about just how you're going to manage go high level. It's right. When a new client calls, this is how we manage them. This is what we do. And that's going to give you the roadmap, the instructions for what to do at every step of the way. So that's what I call, right? So I have SOPs for the whole pre-arrival process from first intake, right? All the way through until they arrive. And it doesn't matter what EMR you're using, what CRM is, because you can change that in the SOP. The point is that tells your team what to do. That tells your next hire what to do. So the work you invest in today to create that is the ROI on it, Mike said, is ginormous. It's an investment. I love Mike talking about that investment. It's an investment. Just start at the beginning, man. Okay, we got to get people, we got to get marketing. Okay, what are our marketing SOP? Okay, once they call, what's the sales SOP? Yeah. So again, trying to bring some, and by the way, I'm talking about this like I did it my whole life. Remember, I didn't do this through most of my business, through most of my career.
Yeah, learn from those of us that suffered along and did it.
Oh, the money I fucking wasted.
Backwards, right? I mean,
the money I wasted, man. Can I say fuck? I hope I can say fuck. But man, the money I wasted. It's brutal. Oh, I don't even want to think about it. See, Mike got fired. I'm worried about the money I got lost. By the end of this, we're all going to be pissed off. Oh. No, I'm not from New York, but I live in Philly. I should be from New York. So
Jerry mentioned CRM. Who knows what a CRM is and who utilizes a CRM, and why you're writing that down? Steve, anything else to add on the system side of things?
Just, I like what you said, that you're going to start from scratch, just going like building out the systems for next year. Yeah, it's important. Sometimes if your systems are not working for you, it doesn't mean that you don't have the right systems in place. It just means you just need a hard reset, and you need to go back and figure out what each system does for you, what the objectives are of the system, what your expectations are of the system, and then put it all together. And I've seen a lot of times, even in HelloNote, we have so many tools within HelloNote. So it's a lot of our clients, sometimes they say, oh, I didn't know you have.
They don't even know you have it. Yes.
Yeah, I didn't know you had one of the big ones now is bookkeeping. We have a bookkeeping tool within HelloNote, right? The only reason we built it out is because, 10 years of feedback. That's what a lot of clients said. They just want they want to get out of, stop using Excel for simple bookkeeping. So we said, okay, no problem. We're going to build it out. So we built it out, right? So we're not a QuickBooks, for example. If you need some sophisticated payroll system, we're not it. That's not that's not a system of HelloNote. But like clocking in, clocking out is another tool we built within HelloNote to manage, for example, your staff or employees of when they're doing their documentation or if they're on the clock or not, or just making sure that your marketing expenses are not over what you're generating as revenue. So we build out these systems within HelloNote, but yeah, there are a lot of tools that we have that a lot of people don't know about. But you know what? I'd almost rather not put it out there, because then people get confused and they focus too much time on trying to learn a system that they don't need. And Kara, I know you know this. We have a lot of therapists that we work with. Sometimes it's like trying to learn the whole system before you have a first patient. Okay, so yes, the systems are there, the tools are all there, but let us know when you are ready to use it, and not when you're pre-revenue, you can say, and trying to learn everything, because that time should be spent where it belongs, and that's to get patients and referrals. And there are systems in place specifically for that, which is a CRM, like marketing platform and so on. So yeah, I think sometimes you have to take a step back, put into perspective all the systems, all the tools you have at your disposal, whatever stage you are in your business, and then figure out what you're going to use for what stage of your business. So.
Awesome. And a CRM is customer relationship management, and there are a variety of different CRMs out there. But we really need a HIPAA compliant CRM. We work with Chad and Anthony. They use Go High Level, which a lot of the healthcare coaches out there now are selling their HIPAA compliant platform. All of them that I know of are using Go High Level. They just have white labeled it. So they're saying it's their it's their own CRM. It kind of cracks me up, because some of them are like, we have the best HIPAA compliant CRM out there. I'm like, you're white labeling Go High Level. But anyways, the issue is just utilizing a CRM system, especially if you're like me and are way better at being a therapist than knowing how to implement these systems. You need to know how to use it and have someone to help you develop and build those systems in place. So you need to find people that are going to be able to develop that kind of system for you. And that's where we've been able to create systems that work for physical and occupational therapy professionals, that they can just take and copy what we utilize and then customize it for themselves, so you don't have to recreate the wheel. My first attempt at Go High Level was when I just bought it on my own. Yeah, that was not well, because I didn't have any clue how to implement any of it. So there are a lot of different CRMs out there. You just got to really kind of dig into what you all need and what's going to be the best fit for your business. So, okay. Number 3, know your numbers. How many of them, or how many of you know your profit and loss, or look at your numbers at the end of every month? If I asked you, can you tell me what your profit was, what your loss was for November? Could you? Who knows their numbers? Yeah, your financial numbers, smarty pants. So what we're finding is so many therapists, the financial aspect like scares them to death, and they feel the best way to deal with it is avoid it, which is kind of scary when you're running a business and when you need to scale, or when you want to scale, add on employees and so forth. So you need to have a budget. I mean, obviously this is basic business 101, but you'd be surprised at how many people don't even have a budget, right? But you need to know at the end of each month how much profit you're bringing in, how much expense you have. And so you know what's going on. The other thing is you need to have a good, I feel you need to have a good accountant, good bookkeeping. And for example, you know, I did a post the other day of who has met with their accountant in the last few months in order to strategize with tax planning before the end of the year. And the majority on the post haven't, and this is huge. I mean, I had some major things that I needed to do and put in place before the end of the year based off of my meeting with my accountant. And if I hadn't done that, that could be some really costly mistakes. So you need to have, you need to know your numbers. If you aren't good at that, get help. One of my very first hires was a bookkeeper. Because I wanted all of that to be taken care of and I didn't want to deal with it. So a bookkeeper and accountant were a couple of my first hires in order to make sure I was doing things right in that regard. Steve, Jerry, what do you have to add on the financial aspect and what you're seeing out there?
Yeah, well, finances, of course, you have to know your numbers. And yeah, it is scary if you're trying to avoid that subject because your whole business is based on numbers, right? So if you are not profitable, if you cannot afford to pay yourself, then the business is going to sink you, right? And that's going to put a huge load on focusing on your business, and it's going to essentially get you to the point where you question why you started a business, and you never want to do that, right? You want to learn from your mistakes, but you don't want to get so caught up with issues of running a business that you wish you never did that. And I loved seeing in the comments of people that were actually glad they got fired because that propelled them to actually start their own business. So I love that. I love taking that negativity and turning it into a positive. So when you run your own business, right, you really have to take care of your business, and numbers are definitely one of the, well, if not the most important thing, because if you don't know your numbers, then you have no idea what the health of your business is. And you do not want to operate a unhealthy business, right? You want it to be as healthy as possible. Now, that does not mean that every month you're going to have a healthy business. Like sometimes there are going to be certain things that you did, maybe you spend more on marketing, maybe hired someone, maybe you didn't utilize the system properly, and your numbers, your revenue numbers will drop and your expenses will go up. That's fine. But you have to know that. You can't just, look back a year and start looking at your numbers and your graph is like this of numbers and trending down. You want it to go up. Okay. It's okay if it's not consistently going up, but at least every month you should know what your numbers are. So definitely one of my top points is know your numbers.
Jerry, anything you want to add?
Yeah, all I'm gonna add is you asked what I see out there, so I'm gonna answer that. You know what I see out there? And it's very common, and I guarantee you the bulk of people on this call are doing, they manage by the balance in their checking account. And that is right. You have no idea about cash flow. You have no idea about, right, what's coming in, what's going out. So recommending don't use your, understand what you need to track each month. That's step number one. And then step number two, because I burned through more CPAs and DMRs in my 18 years in business than anything else. And here's my one piece of recommendation on a CPA. You guys need to interview your CPA because there are different CPAs out there. There are CPAs who are tax preparers. There are CPAs who are financial planners. There are CPAs who are used to working with small businesses. That needs to be a required question. How did I find my CPA? Because I see you guys asking some questions. How do I find this people? I went to my network. And not PT business owners. No, I went to my network of business owners and I said, who likes their CPA? And like 5 guys raised, or 5 people, sorry, it was people, raise their hands. And I say, do you know if they're taking new business? They said, I don't know. I say, send me the 5 names. I emailed each of them individually, said, this is what I do. This is my business. Are you interested in more business? And if so, will you answer these 3 questions? 3 people opted out immediately. 2 people stayed in. I interviewed them both. I had a real specific set of questions and I went with the person that was going to meet my needs. And it was beautiful. And I kicked myself in the ass yet again for not doing that like 10 years earlier. So there's my big takeaways.
So I love this book called The Damn Plan. And she has nothing to do in the therapy world or anything. Her name's Kim Nagel. And, realistically, it all comes down to knowing your numbers. And that is the key thing that you need to do and know when you're running your business. And she just comes down to it. No more excuses. You absolutely have to know your numbers. And when you're talking about accountants, I went through 2 before I have my current accountant, but we were talking about accountants a ton this morning in our therapy business builder coaching call. And I think one of the therapists is on here today, but her accountants, she was asking if they should meet before the end of the year. And he was like, no, just come next year. And we're like, what? You have to interview your accountants, know when to fire your accountants as well. With just to kind of, why is it so bad when people have no idea their financial numbers? It can lead to financial mistakes, overspending, taking on unnecessary debt,
Missing payroll,
stress. But also we have had therapists come to us with some severe issues with taxes and not paying their taxes when they should, not doing their quarterlies, not saving enough for their taxes. So by the time it comes to paying their taxes, they're screwed. So it's really important. A lot of people don't have reserves. Do you have reserves? Like think about, what we went through with COVID. How many months of reserves do you have in place? For those of you that are on here, how many of you guys feel that you have 3 months worth of reserves if something would happen tomorrow, that you would be okay covering your business expenses? Anyone here feel like they have that in place? Good, got 1. And if you don't, it's fine, but it's something you can work towards. So good. Awesome. Yeah, we have some yes, some no. How many of you are setting aside money in order to be able to pay taxes and know how much money you should set aside to pay taxes? And just a heads up, if you don't pay quarterly taxes, new regulations are in place, and when you don't pay quarterly taxes, the fines or whatever they call it are more expensive now with some of the changes they have put in place. So as far as tips for you guys, you know, I think the moral of the story, and we'll talk about this at the end, sometimes you need to slow down before you move forward. And some of these things that we've talked about, if you don't have them in place, you might need to consider to slow down before you continue on. And this is one of them. You need to put this at the top of your list to make sure you're financially solid and able to report on those numbers, and making sure you're setting aside the appropriate amount of money that you need. Okay. I think we're on number 4, kind of at a loss here, but number 4, know when and who to hire. I see so many people that are burning themselves out because they refuse to hire or delegate or get someone to help them with their business. You realistically cannot do it all if you want to build a good, solid business. And then on top of that, knowing who to hire is huge. And we sometimes see people choosing the wrong person or position to hire. And I think I'll let Jerry take this one, because that's almost one of his businesses in a sense. So, but I will say before Jerry, one of my biggest mottos has always been, you have to get the right people on your bus. And if they're not the right people, you need to kick them off your bus. So getting the right people on your bus is huge in order to make you successful. So Jerry,
Yeah.
why is this so important?
I think the when and the who is huge. I think, again, I think this all ties back to the systems, right? Knowing the next thing, where's your focus, will tell you when, right? So if you've mapped out this journey, if you're building out the systems, if you're seeing growth, right, that'll say we need to hire someone. Back to Kara, we hire someone, right? But what role, maybe you're asking yourself, right? What I hear all the time, you know, do I need to hire a front desk person, or do I need to hire another provider? And I go round and round with people on this, and I even, you know, I changed my view on that immensely, 180 degrees. So, you know, when, I think everything we've told you can help you figure out when. The who part is the hard part, and then finding that right hire is even harder. So, you know, my thing is, and what I created was, I found this role that was very important to a business that no one was filling. So I started, right, my virtual company, saying, look, I have this role in your company that you didn't know you needed, but you keep saying you need the results of someone on your team to do this. And I'm like, it's this role here. So understanding, right, again, who needs to hire is what I'm talking about, is, again, really important to always talk to that person who's maybe about 2 steps ahead of you of growing their business. Who was your first hire? Tell me why they were your first hire, you know, and then tell me what was the results of hiring that person, and really looking at what do you need done next for that who to hire. So that's my 30 cents on that.
Awesome. Steve, anything to add on this?
Yeah, pretty much what Jerry said. You really have to know who you hire and when to hire as well, because, you know, there's hiring is not easy. So if we just break down what the hiring process is like, it's not easy. And I'm in New York, right? And I have a lot of colleagues that they also run their own businesses. And, you know, when they interview somebody, it gets to the point where they already know if this person will work out. You know, they might have a solid resume, but they know they cannot go through with this person because they've been fooled before. And these are people that you can hire. And I'm not talking about specifically therapists, like more of like administrators, right? So you hire an administrator, you spend time, and this happened with us too, and it still happens with us, right? So you can hire someone, they interview well, they have a great resume, they have great references, right? And then you spend months training them, only to find out that then they get lazy, doing what what their responsibilities are, they're taking off, and so on. And it's just such a bad feeling because you don't want to, you don't want to fire anyone, right? Because I know a lot of you know what it's like to be fired, but remember, you're running a business, and yeah, so you're running a business, so you need to know when to hire and when to fire as well. Okay, unfortunately, that's part of running a business. And I know a lot of you say, I don't want to fire anyone. Well, then you're just gonna sink your business, right? Because if you don't have the right team in place, that's gonna pull you down. And think about the stress that it's gonna go on you. And I have seen businesses fail because they did not hire the right team and they did not want to replace their team. And by the time they took action, it was already too late. So yeah, hiring is a really important topic. You also need to know, back to the prior point, number 3, with know your numbers. You need to know when to hire, because if you have no money to hire, you do not want to not pay anybody, right? So think about that as well.
I gotta stop muting myself. My daughter had to bring me a drink, not an alcoholic drink, just a regular drink here, but
I was gonna say, wait a minute, run your daughter over here then.
it was a bubbler, not a.
I was like, run your daughter over here, told her to run me a drink.
I think I should get like some sort of commission because everyone probably sees me drinking bubblers on a regular basis. So we have actually a couple therapists that are on tonight. I'll just give you this one example. And they're pretty recent both in starting their businesses, but they're killing it. Let's face it, they have more clients and more referrals and leads coming in than they can handle. So that's when I called Jerry and I'm like, Jerry, we need to get them set up with a front desk associate to handle their leads, the insurance verification piece, because they don't need to be wasting and spending their time doing that when they could be out doing the higher level tasks that they need to build and grow their business further. So there are some simple things that can be put in place in order to make that happen. So it's nice to have people like Jerry on your team that can help do that. And the key is that, we're training these front desk associates in utilizing the systems we use, Hello Note, Go High Level, the processes, and how to, that's where Jerry comes in, is really teaching them how to work with clients and handle client situations and so forth on it. So, and I will tell you, also, one of my first hires was one of my good friends, and she was my first fire. It just wasn't working out.
Oh,
and
Jesus, I got a handful of those stories.
Yeah, I mean, so you have to do what's best for your business. We could go on each one of these. The other thing is, you have to know what you can actually afford to pay. We see a lot of therapists paying their employees way more than what they can actually support in their business. For my business with my staff, I'm upfront with them on, I show them the numbers. Is it Show Me the Money? So that's like a movie, right?
Show me the money.
Yeah, like I show them the numbers so they know, what the reimbursement looks like, what we bring in. So they know what it looks like and what I can afford to pay them. But we have trade-offs, they set their own schedules. They have an idea, we try to make it happen. So there's definitely payoffs there as well if you can't pay top dollar for a therapist. So if you guys have anything to add on know when and who to hire, put it in the chat. I forgot to even ask you guys if anyone struggles with this aspect, either knowing when to hire or knowing who to hire. Let us know if you guys struggle with that department at all.
And while that's happening, I just want to make a note of, I hope everyone knows how valuable what Jerry is doing with Front Desk Solutions. It's just such a supplement to the business to have someone you can hire that already knows your business model and the systems you have in place to save you tons of time on that training and building that trust. So yeah, I really hope it's relayed how much Jerry's company of providing you professionals that already know your systems. And I know they're still kind of piecing everything together as far as getting to know the system and building those SOPs, but get in while you can, because I'm sure Jerry's going to have to do a lot more hiring and training on his end to keep up with demand, because once everyone is trained on all the systems, there's, the amount of time and money and energy and stress you'll save, it just does not make sense not to hire someone that already is trained on your business model, right? So thanks, Jerry, for stepping up and bringing this to the industry.
Yeah, isn't that funny? After what, 25 years in the industry and a physical therapist, what's the next business I started was that front end stuff. I still laugh about it all the time. That business is growing like freaking wildfire.
It's key though. I mean, Sue and I have been saying for the last several years, and I think Steve, we've talked about this, that we just need to hire virtual assistants to help our therapists in our therapy business builder program. And we never got around to it, and it wasn't probably our best use of time. And then Mike and you guys were talking and connected, and having your team help all of our therapists is a game changer. So,
yeah, if we did that, Kara, we'd be competitors of Jerry, and I do not want that.
yeah, that's true. That's much better to collaborate.
Right.
Well, right. I mean, right. And I created a company to supply one slot, right? And that's it, right? No marketing. It's just this step right here. And
Yeah.
by the way, of which goes back to the systems and the processes and the one thing, right? I also picked a component upstream that I saw could have a huge impact on the business, right? So yeah, it's just funny where it fits all this stuff we're talking about, right? And then I love it. As Steve said that, the delegation page came up, and I was like, this would be a perfect commercial. I should just take the video and turn it into a commercial. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
it's huge.
I also,
Go ahead, Mike.
Sure. I want to reiterate what Steve said about Jerry, and of course what Kara said about collaboration. I mean, I don't know if you guys know it. I used to have a virtual assistant agency back home in the Philippines, and imagine what Steve said. If we continued that and compete with Jerry, I'll be eaten alive, right? Or me creating my own EMR.
Right. Exactly.
Don't even
Right.
find people who are actually doing it already. And number 5 is delegate it. And again, it all boils down to the number 4, when to hire and who to hire. I mean, Kara said, you got to know your number, but sometimes you also want to think, hey, is this an investment or an expense? It will always be an investment for your employees. I invested with Jerry, I invested with Steve and Kara, and this is the result. So delegate, talk to Jerry, talk to Steve, obviously talk to Kara, and then don't even talk to me. I'm just crazy. So
So we did have, some people that shared with the hiring. Carrie, she's really taken control of everything in the last few months. And she said that she hired a PTA because she was seeing upward of 20 clients a week and no time to work on her business. But the amount of things Carrie has been able to accomplish over a short amount of time has been great, because she is focusing. She is learning to, know her numbers, she's implementing her systems and delegating and so forth. So she's a great example of taking these strategies and implementing them. Chelsea said she's currently trying to figure out if, when, how I should hire and admin and what to delegate. Jerry shared his community, and so forth. So, we'll talk about how to get all of these, resources and so forth as well here. I think this is number 5, right, guys? This is number 5? Yeah,
Yeah.
number 5. Delegation. This was probably, I keep saying that, everything was probably the key to my success, but, in not this past June, but the June before, I was in this mastermind program. And that's, from that moment on, is where my business really took off. And delegation, my business coach told me, if someone could do it at least 80% of how you can do it, delegate that task. And obviously, there are some things that you shouldn't delegate. But if you think about it, if you can just delegate 1 hour per week, that itself is 52 hours per year. A lot of us think that we are the key to our therapist success, that we're the only ones that can see the client. And, I'm pretty sure Steve said this to me. I've had other coaches say to me that, are you ever going to stop seeing clients? And I was like, no, I'm going to continue seeing clients and so forth. But if you truly want to grow a business and be a CEO of your business, you have to learn to delegate, and you have to realize that you are not the only person that can do this stuff. And let me tell you, once you start delegating, it's freaking awesome. My therapy manager is amazing. Just today, we had a PTA reached out, want to work with us, sent her a message, and Nicole a message that they need to get together and meet and so forth. Done. Don't need to worry about it. She'll take care of it. Billing issue, talk to Cheyenne, she'll deal with it. It gets really refreshing. Sometimes I probably delegate too much now. But delegation
That's awesome.
is so important. And one of my first original coaches said that you can't treat your business like a baby, where you're holding it so tight and you don't want anyone else to hold it, and you're not willing to, let pass your child around and so forth. You have to be able to kind of break free of that and delegate. So
That's a great
delegate.
analogy.
So Jerry, Steve, you guys want to add anything on delegation?
No, I think I've beat that horse.
I still have problems delegating.
Steve does have problems delegating. We've talked about this.
Yep. As any business owner, I think delegation is something that you think you're going to do whatever it is you do the best. And it might be true. So it's really hard to let something like that go. And no matter who you hire, you're always going to kind of try to step in and say, no, that has to be done this way. But with what Kara said, if you can delegate something that can be done at least 80% effective as you do, delegate it. Okay, because that's going to free up your time to focus on something else and grow your business, or fill in a problem that you have somewhere else. So remember, there's only there's a finite number of hours in a day that you can function, right? So if you don't delegate, things are just going to pile up, and essentially you're not going to be able to get to everything. So delegation is important. I've delegated a lot, I feel like, but I still have a lot more to delegate that I can delegate. So I'm working on it. It's something that I struggle with, but But as Kara said, it is awesome when you do delegate your tasks and then you can step back and you take that breath of fresh air that you don't have to worry about it. I have an awesome team at HelloNode, and there's no way that I could do what I do if it wasn't for the team that we have. So I'm appreciative of the team, and just knowing that I can put trust into a certain team member to take care of something, I can sleep at night. Even though I go to sleep late, I still sleep knowing that that is something that is being taken care of that I no longer have to do. So yeah, and then I can focus on something else, and I do. I have a mindset that I always have ideas. With all the feedback we get from HelloNode, I have work for the next 100 years to do.
Yeah, right.
So,
More than that.
that, right. So yeah, delegation is awesome. Just let go. And what's the worst that can happen? You can always step in, fine tune it, and delegate again, and tweak whatever needs to be tweaked. So yeah, don't be like me and delegate.
Yeah, let us know in the chat section, are you a good delegator or do you really struggle with delegation? I don't know. The whole 80% thing was literally life-changing for me. And I know that kind of sounds stupid, but it was. I mean, he specifically said, any task that someone can do, 80% of what you can do, you need to delegate it. And man, I started delegating like crazy after that. Some people say these are some of the things that you maybe should not delegate, but I still delegate some of these things. So hiring and firing. Well, my therapy manager plays a huge role in hiring because she's actually knows more than I do now of what's going on the front line and with the therapist and so forth. So she pretty much takes care of that. Firing, she hasn't really had, she really hasn't had to fire yet, but discipline, I mean, she handles a lot of the discipline and crisis management and confidential tasks are some of the things they say you may not want to delegate, but it kind of depends on where you're at in your business lifestyle as well. But delegation can truly be your best friend. And as a CEO, you need to be able to find the right balance between technical task and management. So I see quite a few people up here that said that, yeah, delegation is a struggle. Yeah. And like Gus says, a lot of us I feel private practice therapists are, to me, I mean, I think you're all probably great therapists and have been told or asked at some point in your time, like, I wish you could just come to my house or you could be my private therapist and so forth. So I think we're really good therapists and we've probably been told that. And we tend to think that we're the one that can do the job, but you can't grow a business while doing all of that at the same time. So okay, so now what? So I want you guys to think about the things we talked about, and they really all kind of jive together, right? In order to be able to focus, you got to be able to delegate. In order to be able to delegate, you have to know when to hire and who to hire. In order to be able to hire, you need to know your finances. In order to be able to delegate more, you have to know your finances and have that available to hire more. In order to be more efficient and save your time, you need to have those systems in place. So they all really go together. So in the chat section, there's still, I swear I'm always going to keep things to an hour and never manage to do it. So there's still 31 of you here. What is just one thing that you're learned today that you're going to try to implement over the next week or the next month to help get your practice to the next level? So we should have like 30 comments in the chat. think of something that you're gonna do. It can be as simple as you're gonna delegate one thing, or you're gonna, Carrie said know her numbers, but everyone shares something that you're going to do. Talk to Jerry tomorrow. Good. Figure out that patient streamline. Systems, numbers. Awesome, you guys. And write this down and put it in front of you and make sure you do it. And get help. Find a network or a community of people that are going to be there to help support you and help you get the systems in place, help you to be able to focus and so forth on doing these. So I think I know most of you that are on here, we're not hardcore pressure tactic people, because we're literally here to help therapists start, build, and grow their practices, and provide the best support that we can. We haven't formally announced how we've completely revamped everything that we do, and we haven't formally announced all of the different team members that we now have on our team at Next Level with our Therapy Business Builder program. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about it, and if you guys are interested in growing your business in 2024, and I mean, I feel confident that we can definitely help you increase your revenue, and any investment into our program and what we do, you'll definitely get a return on investment by very easily. So I'm going to talk a little bit about our program. So with our Therapy Business Builder program, we've changed it now to more of a subscription-based program where everything is included within our program. So that means that the EMR, the Hello Note, is included within the payment for the program. Your individual coaching calls are included. Your group coaching calls are included. The HIPAA compliant CRM is included. And then on top of that, we have added new coaches over the past several months to our program, and that aren't just therapists, but actually experts in their area. So like, for instance, Jake, he's the one laughing on the bottom over here. He owns a marketing firm, 200 plus employees, and specializes in digital marketing and so forth. He's already been a game changer to many of our therapists, because what we've been finding over the course of time is therapists were also very tend to believe and put like, for instance, I think I've shared with a lot of you guys, like, we have therapists who invested in website builders, SEO, and so forth, and they don't really know what's going on in the back end. And Jake's been able to show us what's going on the back end, and we're finding that people are paying for all of these services and nothing's actually being done. So he's been a recent addition to our program. Anthony and Chad are our systems gurus. They help implement systems, and pretty much anything that you want to happen, they can figure it out with that. Of course, you all know Jerry now, since he's been on here, but that's been a huge addition to our program. So how that works with people in our program have access to his virtual assistants, and what we've been doing is we've been training his virtual assistants. In fact, the primary, when they're not virtual assistants, sorry, Jerry, why didn't you yell at me? Front desk
I was on mute, and I was just yelling at you through the mute. The front desk associates. And I'll tell you what, now
I've been so good about this, and
you
now
did this, and I would have
it.
kept my mouth shut. What I want you guys to understand, because I saw someone said you need to get a VA, and I agree. Here's what I created. I created a group of people that I brought in that were training for healthcare practices, physio, OT, speech. So my thing is, if you hire a VA, you have to do all the training, and you can do it. Many people do it. Mike does it, by the way, right? Mike has more than one VA, right, on his team. And he also has a front desk associate on his team, right? Because he's filling his needs. So we created something where it was really niched down, and we do all the training, right? They're trained on managing a pre-arrival process for anybody. I mean, we have OTs now and everything. And I'll tell you, so the training has happened. So if you guys want to make more work for yourself, hire the VA, make sure you have the systems and the SOPs for them. And I'm dead serious. That's not anything. It's like, if you can do that, then hire the VA. Otherwise, you're just hiring a cheaper employee to pay. That's all, or to train. The other thing is, we created pricing that's only available to this group, and this is being recorded. There's pricing. That's what we did. And we created another tier of services for this group that is not available to anybody. And we created pricing that is not available to anybody else. So that's what we did definitely here, because our services are not included in that monthly, but we have offered a lower tier of pricing for this group. So there you go.
And the thing is like I told you guys, we've always wanted to train someone in what we do to help our therapists, because we find that that's a huge bottleneck. And so working with Jerry has been a game changer. And what we did actually is, one of Jerry's front desk associates has been my front desk associate for several months now. So he's been learning Hello Note, Go High Level, helping develop our systems. And then he helps train other front desk associates. So we're able to, like I said, 2 of our therapists that are on, I'm able to message Jerry and say, hey, they just need a few hours a week in order to do this, this, and this, because that's going to free up their time to see clients, and the amount they're going to pay and versus the amount they're going to bring in by being able to see clients is huge with that. So other people on our team, Alex Ingar, he's a financial guru. So we have financial coaching on a monthly basis. He does individual, more in-depth stuff as needed. Melanie, she's not on tonight. I think she's on her way to New Zealand. She's a compliance expert. One thing that we find with mobile hybrid practices is compliance aspect. People really are on the struggle bus with that. So she comes in on a regular basis, and she knows all the behind the scenes things that are going on, because she helps clinics that are going through audits. Like a month or so ago, she sent me a message. Make sure you let everyone know that they're doing more surprise audits in this area now. And this is what they're looking for, and so forth. You guys all know Steve. Kylie is kind of the behind the scenes, Sue. Alicia Comer is a occupational therapist that's had a private practice and has specialty in the cash-based and pediatric world. Mike's on here. Greg, he is with a new billing company that we're utilizing with Hello Note and so forth, that really streamlines things. But that's for right now, it's currently only available for practices that are closer to the $1 million mark per year. At least 500, but closer to the $1 million mark per year. But they come in and do training on the importance of making sure that you're knowing where your claims are going and what's happening with them, and making sure you're getting all the money that you should be getting. So if any of you guys are interested in taking your business to the next level in 2024, we would love to have you in our Therapy Business Builder program. We are a no pressure tactics program. We would just jump on a call with you and go over everything. And then, like I said, the cool thing is everything's all included within the program now, thanks to Steve's generosity and Chad and Anthony with their CRM system. And then we have some of the very low cost add-ons like we mentioned with Jerry and so forth. It's just too hard to make that part of the program because everyone's at different stages and need different pieces. So we always want it to be as cost effective as possible. So that is more about us. Anything I failed to mention, Steve, Jerry, Mike?
Well, you called my
No.
name, so with that being said, I just want to say I wouldn't be where I'm at, ladies and gentlemen, if without or the dream team above there. I don't know if you heard what I said. I wouldn't be where I'm at without the help of the mentors that we have. You know, Kara, Greg, and Alex, and Steve, and the rest of the team. And of course, Jerry. Jerry, I've been following him. I've been stalking him since 2016, 15. And never realized I could be able to talk to him like friends like this. And sometimes, ladies and gentlemen, you got to get out of that comfort zone and invest. I keep on saying invest because you got to invest in yourself, invest in your community, and that way you can be the best that you can be, not for yourself, but also for your family and for your community, and be really the game changer that you were meant to be. We're all therapists here, we're all mature people and everything. But if you really want to go next level, right? Yeah, pun intended. If you want to be the next level, you got to find these people that will bring out the best in you because you are always the average of the 5 people. And just like it says here, dream team, I'm seeing it right now. The dream team, I don't know. I grew up in I was born in the 70s. There was this dream team in the 80s where Michael Jordan and then Magic Johnson and Larry Bird, and they teamed up and they called him the dream team. Guess what? Nobody can beat them. They were just amazing. And this is what we want you to be. We want you to find the dream team that you can support and have. You have a coach. You guys are already superstars. But you need to find a coach and a team of people that will bring out the best in you. And you guys need to join this. I mean, I'm telling you this because I'm the testimony. I'm literally what I'm doing right now is because of the effect of these people here. So yeah, dream team on 3.
And one of my earlier business coaches always talked about, your net work equals your net worth, but I wouldn't be where I am today without, pretty much everyone on here. And not one person knows all the answers. And when you think of the big businesses, right? The $1 million businesses out there, it's not one person. So anyone that thinks that they can really get to where they need to be as a one-person show, I mean, I don't know, that's pretty amazing. So that's where we're really we're really excited to be able to bring in so many professionals that specialize in different areas in order to help our therapists really grow and get to where they need in their business. And yeah, I mean, if we're not saving therapists money and they're not getting a return on investment, then we're not the right fit for them, because that's our whole goal, is to help therapists make more money and be more efficient and decrease their stress and be able to give them the answers they need when all of those hard questions come up as we go. So if anyone wants to set up or talk to us, all you have to do is I'll put in a link here. I mean, you can just email me. My phone number is there, but of course we have nice little automations that we can just send out. We like everyone to, we have an application process, because again, you have to be the right fit for our program, because we need to be successful, right? As well, we want to make sure that people who are in our program are a good fit. So the application process allows us to learn more for you. And then once you fill that out, you're able to set up a call with us where we go over everything within the program. Just to give you a little heads up, January is a pretty crazy month, because, actually, I didn't get to talk about this. I need to talk about the pencil breaking. That was key. January is a really busy month. Because there's so much to do before 2024, and we really want our therapist to get their systems in place to make things easier. So January 5th, we're starting off with our growth plan workshop, and making sure everyone has their growth plan established. We're doing a year end review of 2023, planning for 2024, and specifically focusing on Q1. On January 8th, we're doing our policy and procedure manual training and updates. There's a lot of new forms and changes that need to happen with the changes that are taking place January 1st, 2024. We are doing all new Hello Note 2.0 trainings throughout the month. And then we are really digging into the business systems. We have the main systems that we like our therapists to start with, and that what's going to be our focus is a lead management pipeline to make sure that all the leads that are coming in are being managed and followed through appropriate. We also have a specific client management pipeline, so that probably better called a therapist management pipeline. So all of my therapists have their own pipeline where they know where the clients are, and they can move them along the process so that they get automations, whether that be they slide them over to the column where they automatically get sent out Google reviews, or where they slide over to the column where they're being discharged and they're going to automatically get messages at 30 days, 90 days, so forth. Or it might just be they're going to be automatically sent emails and texts wishing them happy birthday on their birthday. They also we help them get to their calendar and scheduling systems integrated. So automated appointment reminders are going out. And different funnel pages for people to schedule a call. We have a cool, and you can look at my website is currently being totally redone with Jake's team, because of course I couldn't say no, and what he's doing is pretty cool. So what you see on there is not currently the setup, but we have a referral thing on our real technical here, a referral form on our website that all of our people in our community really like, because they can just go in our community referral sources, plug it in, and then it automatically goes into our lead pipeline. We have a social media management. Our therapists learned today on our training with with Jake, how they could create, how many was it? I don't know if you guys are still on, it's late in the Eastern time, but like 50 posts in a matter of a few minutes, and then use our social media management in order to take that out. We've automated intake forms, and yeah, those are the biggest ones that we want our staff, our therapists to get in place right away. So those trainings will be happening. So January is a pretty big month. So any of those people that are really ready to get up and going, starting sooner than later, plus it's an investment and tax deduction for your business. So we would love to help you. The reason why the pencil break is here is because another aha moment was sometimes you have to break your business completely down and start building it up again in order for you to really grow to your next step. And that's where even with our therapy business builder program, we realistically kind of stopped things down and completely revamped and developed this new system in order to help with the bottlenecks that we were seeing happening with therapists out there. So yeah, that's kind of my spiel, more than I intended to share. But if you guys have any specific questions, feel free to reach out to any of us. More than happy to get on a call. However, being that it is a holiday time, most importantly, all of you guys need to be enjoying your family and friends and taking some time for yourself as well. So you can find us anytime. It doesn't have to be immediately, since it is a busy time of year. So any other last remarks? Mike, Steve, Jerry, you want to add in?
I'm all good.
Yeah,
Okay.
and the one thing I do always want to mention is just take initiative right away. If you really are here and you're serious about starting a business, and we're right around the corner from a brand new year, so take your business and your idea seriously, and we will help you get to where you are. You know, it's most of everything, of course, relies on you, but you got to take that initiative, and we're here to support you and put everything together for you to be successful. It's why we're here. It's why Kara has this program, and we've helped over 200 therapists now start a business. So let's put you on that list. And if you already have a business and you're looking to scale, then let's scale you up from the 6 figures to 7 figures.
Mike, you usually
I
have
love that.
you can be our closing words.
I know, right? But I like what he said, as Steve said. Let's take your business from 6-figure to 7-figure. Oh gosh, I want that. Well, anyway, always remember the word fast, ladies and gentlemen. FAST. You got to take action fast. Right? Letter F. Find people that will bring out the best in you, because you are the average of the 5 people you hang out with. Today, you hang out with Gary, with Steve, with Kara, and with you guys. So this is the average. You know, you are the average. Next letter is letter A. Take action. It doesn't have to be perfect. Take action by reaching out to Sue, to Kara, the rest of the coaches, with Jerry or Steve. You know, just take action. It doesn't have to be, an expensive action. Just one step. All right. The first step that you did is you already, attended this webinar. Next is letter S. Shoot for the moon. Why? If you keep shooting for the moon, you're gonna miss it, but you're gonna be landing with the stars. I kept shooting for the moon, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight, I landed up with the stars, with you guys, with Kara, with Steve, with Jerry. Keep shooting. You're gonna fail. Let me tell you this: you're gonna fail, but it doesn't matter how many times you failed or fallen or got sick. It's how many times you get up and do this all over again. And that's how business is. You're gonna fail. You're gonna make mistakes, but the lesser the mistakes, because other people have done it, you're gonna be fine. Last is letter T. Is you teach it. Why? Because when you hear it, you forget. When you see it, you remember. But when you keep teaching it, like what Kara's doing, like what Steve is doing and Jerry's doing, they're understanding it more. And then me as a business owner, I don't have to understand everything, because other people is teaching me already. So that's my last parting words, Kara. Thank you everyone for watching and joining this webinar. Appreciate you. Kara, thank you for answering the call to be the next level OT for us.
Thank you, everyone. Have a fabulous rest of 2023 and wish you the best in 2024. See you all soon.